Hi everyone, in this video we're going to review multiplying and dividing positive and negative integers. So first let's look at these rules. We always want to multiply and divide as usual. You're always going to do exactly what the problem says. If you're being told to multiply, multiply those numbers. And if you're being told to divide, then you want to divide those numbers. The next step is to determine whether your answer is going to be positive or negative. Now I like to use a tic-tac-toe board that helps me with this, which I'm going to draw on the screen in a moment. But essentially what you're doing is if your signs are the same, your answer will be positive. If both numbers are positive, your answer is positive. If both numbers are negative, your answer is still positive. Now, if the signs are different, your answer is going to end up being negative. So these rules are really different from when we add and subtract positive and negative integers, okay? Multiplying and dividing is different from adding and subtracting. This is the tic-tac-toe board that I like to follow when I am multiplying and dividing positive and negative integers. So again, when you have a negative times a negative, you end up with a positive number here. If you have a negative times a positive, so there my signs are different, then we end up with a negative answer. And if I have a positive times a negative, I end up with a negative answer. This tic-tac-toe board works no matter which way you go. So again, I could start on that bottom right-hand corner and think a negative times a negative, my answer is going to end up being positive here. I could go on the diagonals. I could say a positive times a positive is going to give me a positive number. I could go on the other diagonal. A negative times a positive is going to give me a negative number. So it doesn't matter which direction you go on this tic-tac-toe board, you just want to make sure that you're following those signs. So let's do a couple examples together. Let's say I have negative 42 times, let's not do times, let's do division, divided by 7. I'm going to go ahead and divide that like usual. So I'm just going to look at my numbers. I'm going to ignore the signs for now. 42 divided by 7 gives me 6. Now I see that I have a negative 42 and a positive 7. So my signs are different. I have a negative number and a positive number, so my answer is going to end up being negative. My answer is going to end up being negative 6. Now let's say I have 2 times negative 5. Now this is a multiplication problem, but I'm still going to follow those rules. I'm going to multiply like normal. Ignore the signs for now. 2 times 5 gives me 10. Now I just need to determine if my answer is positive or negative. Again, this is a positive 2, and I see I have a negative 5, so my signs are different. Go ahead and think to yourself if you think the answer is going to be positive or negative. Again, I can look at my tic-tac-toe board. I have a positive number times a negative number, so my answer is going to end up being negative. Negative 10 is going to end up being my answer here. Let's say I have negative 18 divided by negative 3. Again, I can divide these numbers like normal. 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. Now in this case, I have a negative 18 and a negative 3. Both of my numbers are negative here. So I'm going to look at my tic-tac-toe board and I'm going to think I've got a negative times a negative. That means my answer is going to end up being positive. So I'm going to leave that as a positive 6. Remember, follow that tic-tac-toe board and you'll be able to multiply and divide positive and negative integers correctly. Good luck!